Welcome and thank you for joining me. This is Laurie of Laurie's Heirloom Sewing. And as you can see, I've got heart fabric, I've got some seersucker fabric, and a heart cut from parchment paper over here. This is the fourth time I have attempted to do this video. Most of them were rolling and going along just fine. But then I would have some sort of random technical issue. So this time I'm having to actually put a bandage on my right hand because my puppy scratched me. He didn't mean to, he was playing with his newly washed and dried toy, and he got a little overexcited and scratched me. And I just don't think it's something everybody needs to be looking at. It's kind of gross. So I'm covering that up with a bandage. And earlier in the video, I wanted to show you something I found in the process of unpacking. This was a little class that I taught a long time ago. It is filthy, but you know, as heirlooms typically go, I think part of the problem here is the lighting. It's white linen that has been embroidered, and then we added some beads and some silk ribbon, and then we just kind of glued a pin back to it. I think I did this with a children's class. Pretty sure of it. In fact, I found some photos. I won't post them because they were pictures of children, but that was, like I said, decades ago. They're not children now. But anyway, I wanted to talk about Valentine's Day, and I'm just going to say a couple things real quick. I love Valentine's Day. It is a day of celebration. It's not particularly a holiday. We don't get time off generally for the Valentine's Day. If you are, if you're like me, you love spring. The season spring is by far my favorite. And Valentine's Day is sort of like the last, hurdle, so to speak. We're coming into the home stretch as far as getting to spring. So even though it comes after my birthday is also in early February, I really prefer Valentine's Day as a day of celebrating and giving and looking forward to a happy, better time of year. I just cannot, I don't do well in the wintertime. I don't do well if it's cold. Pacific Northwest weather is not my jam. I can't wait to get back to the South where it's warm most of the time. Things bloom and it's just beautiful there. So, in any case, let's talk about what I'm doing. It's going to be a bag. I had planned to do more than just 3, but I haven't had any requests from friends. So I'm making 3, one for each of my daughters. I have 2 daughters, and then one for my sister. I have 1 sister. So I'll be making a total of 3. They are going to be, this is the outer fabric, and then the seersucker pink is the inner fabric. So outer fabric, lining fabric, and probably also the strap. The strap is going to just simply go from the point on the front part of the bag across and over. I was going to do 2 handles going that way, but I just decided that would be cuter. And I'm going to attach them with buttons. And I found online on Amazon just a plethora of Jessie James Dress It Up buttons. They were all in one cute little pack. They all came together in a big envelope, and there they all are. So each bag is going to be individualized by the buttons that I choose. So you have owls and flowers and little birds. I know who that will go to. I love the kitty cats. I might do a surprise button on the end of the heart for each person, like down here. So I'd have the two for the handle up here and then just a surprise button. I don't know yet. These are owls. They're so cute. This is little forever friends. They're just sweet little, you know, animals. We have the farm, barnyard, creatures of the sea. These are cute. Little lambs. We have chickens, the hen house. I seem to be missing one in the barnyard, and then there was another one with cows. Did that one escape? Ah, there it is. Bunny farm. So they're just precious, and you can use them to decorate with. I certainly would never use these to do anything with babies. I'm not sure that even children, you know, age 3 to maybe 4, I don't know. I'm sure there's a warning on here. It says not suitable for children 3 years or for use, or under 3 years, or for use on children's clothing. And I just have to agree with that. And not just clothing, but accessories like baby blankets, or, you know, even on a stroller blanket, anything like that. Just be careful. You know, they'll appreciate it. Okay, so earlier in one of the 4 videos that I did before I ended up having to start all over again because of my wound, I was talking about how to cut out a heart and where to find a heart if you're not comfortable doing this. There are coloring books you can, you know, trace around and then take that to, say, a copy place and they'll blow it up for you. Or you can use a piece of paper and then just draw with your dominant hand, just draw around the piece of paper in that shape, you know, however you want to do it. I would definitely recommend a couple of practice runs because you're going to have some that come out, you know, a little bit wider and some that come out a little bit less wide, or they can even be very narrow. You know, like the hearts on this little print are basically, you know, the traditional heart, but I did see some that were very stylized, and that's also a, you know, a possible option. I'll show you that, what I mean by that really quick. Find a piece of paper and a pencil. Here we go. So here we are. We're talking about the traditional heart, like those, and what's on this print. But you can do a very different type of heart by, let me make sure I'm in there, kind of, and I'll zoom in just a wee bit. Okay, ish. Is that still? I'll back up a little bit. All right, so if you start way down here instead of up here and you draw your heart like this and then cut this out, I mean, I think we can already see the difference. But it might be a cute pocket or even an applique if, you know, if that's your jam. But as you can see, that's an extremely different looking heart. I don't know that it would make a great bag because all the space is up here, you know, and that, no, we're not even going to discuss what that looks like. So as you can see, that's very different. It might be a cute, like I said, it might be a cute applique. But there we go. That's how you do a heart. Practice, do it. I used parchment paper. So, you know, use pattern paper, parchment paper, whatever you are comfortable with. And where are my fabric scissors? Are under here. So I'm going to be cutting out one on the fold. While I'm doing this, I'm going to need 2 on the fold for each bag. So when I get these 2 cut out, I'll move up, and then I'm just going to have to go back, and I think I'll have enough. Maybe. I might want to double check that. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is turn my fabric the other way. That is definitely something you should do, is, double check to make sure you've got enough fabric. If I fold this toward here, I don't think I'm going to have enough for the size of the heart that I've, oh yeah, plenty. So 1, 2, okay, and then we'll just assume that that's 3, 4. So we could come back to the middle again. Like that. And that doesn't leave, yeah, I don't know. I may not have enough to make 3 bags. I might have to go purchase another yard, which I've got time to do. But I'm only going to show you. I'm not going to put you through the agony of watching me make 3 of these. We'll just do 1. Okay. So pull this back like that. All right. And since I'm concerned, I'm just going to cut 1. I'm just changing my mind all over the place, y'all. I am, and that's okay. We do that all the time. I think craft rooms are like the absolute best for the best ideas in the world. Okay, I could actually pull this way just a little bit and save myself some fabric. Okay, you never know. You might end up getting squeeching out just enough. I don't want the selvage. I don't want that in my project, so I'm not going to. I suppose you could. It is a craft item. It's not clothing. No. The other thing I wanted to talk about is your choice of item that you cut your pattern out of is going to heavily determine whether or not you can use pins to hold your pattern piece down. I'm just going to have to weigh mine because my pins aren't going through the parchment paper. That's fine. I don't mind. Again, it's just a craft item. And I could use clips on the fold. That's always an option to kind of keep it from slipping and sliding. Okay. Now, because the furniture is going to show up today, I don't think I'm going to be able to finish the sewing. I'm not going to be able to start to finish this project. I wish I could, but that's not going to happen today. Tomorrow, completely different story. I may actually get more done tomorrow on a few other projects. My suggestion for cutting out, you're really going around some big, on a heart. It's a big curve. And it also, not only is this a big curve, but the entire thing for the most part, is going to be on the bias. I mean, there's hardly anything going in the warp or the weft of your fabric. It's just this big, huge thing that is mostly on the bias. So my recommendation is that you just be very careful and you do your best to not stretch once you get it cut out. You know, hold it steady and be patient. You know, if you need to walk out of the room, you know, things are starting to slip and slide and it's irritating you, just walk out of the room for a minute, do something else, and then come back. Okay. And like I said earlier, I cut the bottom of my heart straight across the bottom. It helps when I'm sewing, you know, to get the needles started, the sewing part process started, and I can make it sharper as I go with the stitching part, but I can't fix it if I cut it at a point. Then I'm kind of relegated to starting it on a point, and that can be hard sometimes. Okay. So this is one bag right here. I have a front outer fabric and a back outer fabric for this. So I'm going to take my pattern piece off and then pin these two pieces of fabric together in two places. One up here, because I don't want it to get stretched out of shape, and one down here at the bottom just for stability. And actually 3 places. I'm going to pin it at the point like that. Okay, so there's a front and a back out of my main fabric, and I'm going to try to see if I can. That would be fabulous. Oh, perfect. So I can get 3 single piece cuts out of one half fold of my fabric. Now if I had just jumped in and started cutting, I would not have known that. So play around with your fabric. You might save yourself a trip to the fabric store or some anxiety. You know, moving down the line. I know a lot of seasoned crafters and sewers are aware of that, but it does take a little bit of patience. Especially if we're looking at a pattern, a manufactured pattern, and we're told to do it a certain way. We may end up buying more fabric. We may end up, you know, having to do what they say may require the use of more fabric than what we actually need to use. I figured that out a long time ago just by refolding the fabric a different way, or taking a moment to look at it. You might find that, you know, you can get an entire project out of 1.5 yards instead of an entire project out of 2 yards. It has happened. It's been known to happen. Okay, so here's one front or one back. And I'm not going to discard this because I have some, you know, I have some little hearts that I could use for another project sometime. Oh, and I meant to tell you, the name of this fabric, where did it go? It's going to be somewhere else on that. I'll have to tell you. Oh, it's on the other side. That's right. But I will link it below. Like I said, I purchased it on Amazon, and they still have some. I looked this morning. Okay, so there's that. I just need to cut one more for 2 of the bags. So here we go. Looks like it's called Turnowski. I think that's showing up. For QT Fabrics. But again, as I said, I purchased it on Amazon. Okay. So let's see here. And again, you know, you could make this bag a whole lot bigger. But this is extremely specific to Valentine fabric and design. And I just don't think that the recipients, in my case, oh shoot, are you know, likely going to be using their bag for you know, be just strictly for the Valentine holiday, not holiday, season, I guess. I don't know. But, you know, if you made it out of some solid vinyl, you could seriously use it, you know, any time of the year you wanted to. Especially if it were in a non-traditional color, you know, like emerald green or something. Navy blue. Okay, so there's two. I'm not particularly crazy about sewing with vinyl, but I'm not going to knock it. I know a lot of people really enjoy that. I happen to love 100% natural plant-based fiber fabric is completely what I love. I was watching a couple of my favorite YouTubers go to the market in New York, and I'm sure they were enjoying every minute of it, and I enjoyed their video. So watching it was a lot of fun for me too. Okay, so I have a front and a back, a front and a back. I'm easily going to get a front and a back for another bag, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. Okay. So, oh, and another thing that you could do is if you have, I can't find mine anywhere, but that's a huge surprise considering I've had to redo my sewing room a multitude of times. But you could trace this if you had a marker or a pen that you could remove, like heat erase or water erase. Those are wonderful for marking out patterns. The heat erase, I like those, but I've noticed they're a little bit iffy, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Some will erase beautifully with heat and not reappear, and some will reappear and then just need another application of heat to remove it, and some you will see until the end of time. So I sewed a pair of palazzo pants for myself, and I used a friction pen to mark certain things. Had pockets in them, etc. And they've been washed and worn and ironed and washed and worn and ironed. And I am not kidding, that that ink is still there. So I caution all of those who have the friction pen and use the friction pen to be sure to take that moment and do a little swatch test on your fabric. I wish I had. Okay, this does not want to work, so I will do it like this. Okay, and I may only get this far today. I had planned to have already been done. If I had not had technical difficulties with this video, that would have been the case. Unfortunately, the amount of time it's taken me is like quadrupled from what I had originally planned. And I have a couple things I need to do today, and I'm absolutely blown away by the fact that we have a blue sky. It has done nothing but rain and rain and rain and rain. Shall I say it again? Rain. For days and weeks. I mean, it has literally just been, it's just been awful. Okay, I think, right. Now, why did Laurie cut out a heart shape on a fold if all she was going to do was use the half of the heart? Well, I will show you after I get this set pinned together, which I am still doing, yes. I am still pinning all of the pieces. So I have my fabric for 3 bags. I have a front and a back times 3, okay? And look at this. I have a lot of leftover fabric right down the middle there that I can use if I want to as at least one handle, maybe 2. I don't know yet. I know I'll have plenty for the handles on the Seersucker, but I'm saving this. That's thrilling to me. Okay. Then for the lining, I am going to open my fabric. Let's see, I want to do it, I have to have one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to make sure that I have fabric for lining. Otherwise, you know, I would have to go purchase something, not for lining, for handles. And that's fine. I could easily do that if I need to. But let's see, 1, 2, well, where's my pattern? Okay, so there's a set. And there's a set. And there's a set. Or if I fold it the other way, so as you can see, there's quite a bit of fiddliness that you have to consider when you're, and this is just simply 1 yard of fabric, by the way. I didn't mention that. In case you were wondering, I wanted to see if that was possible. This obviously was not cut straight. I can tell. I have it pretty much squared up, and there's a big big difference there on the cut edge. Okay, so, oh, I can move that up. So there's 1 bag, 2 bag, okay. can actually slide this up just a little bit more. Okay. I love the Seersucker. I think it's going to be a darling. Okay, perfect. So there's one, there's two, and then I'll have enough to do 3 plus loads of fabric left over for the handles. Okay. So that's why I went ahead and cut this the way I did. I wanted to be able to see the full amount of fabric that I was going to be using. So, right, 1, 2. If I do it the other way, I'm actually getting a full set. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll just go ahead and cut 2 and cut 2. And then the next time I come back, that will all be done and we'll be sewing. It might be a blended video because if I get this cut out and we're sewing, this is a very quick project. The only other thing that you need is some either foam interfacing, some fusible fleece interfacing, or just some shirt weight. You know, if you don't want your bag to be super heavy, then you don't need to use a super heavy interfacing. I do have some fleece that's not fusible, and I also have some of the double-sided product that you can use to apply something of that nature. So I may do that on one because I'm kind of at the point where I don't have I don't have enough actual iron-on you know, stabilizer. So I'm just going to have to kind of make some, and trying to locate that in my sewing room is kind of crazy right now. Oh, wait a minute. I take that back. I do have some. I see it down there on the floor. It's in a box. So, okay, well, anyway, I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for watching. And when I come back, probably tomorrow when things aren't quite as hectic, we will be putting this bag together. And then I'm going to go ahead and start, even though I've got 2 more bags to make. Since I'll be doing a video, I'll just go ahead and start on our jacket. So that means I'll be cutting that out as well today. I'm almost done. I'm getting there. But anyway, I hope everybody has a fantastic, wonderful day. And I will see you the next time we meet up. Thank you.